Hi, I'm Dr. Dyan Haspel-Johnson, and it's time for a Tuesday sleep tip. So, the last few weeks, we've been talking about classical mindfulness. So 3 weeks ago, I went over the first stage of classical mindfulness, which is attention. The second stage was 2 weeks ago, and that was awareness. And then last week, we talked about bringing those together. Now, there are 5 components of classical mindfulness, and I think there's a relationship between those components of classical mindfulness and really effective self-hypnosis. So, of course, when I've made my Deep and Easy Sleep self-hypnosis package and when I've taught self-hypnosis to people, I'm always thinking about those components, right? And how those relate to sleep. Because I think that a lot of times when there's insomnia or waking up in the middle of the night or disturbed sleep or things like that, I think that we lose control of our ability to both look within the context of our lives and our general relaxation, and we get distracted. We get hyper-focused on the monkey mind or the spinning thoughts or the worries or the what ifs, and we move out of the present moment. So it can be really helpful to think about mindfulness, and I certainly think about mindfulness a lot in my daily life and when I'm in bed getting ready to go to sleep, but also in terms of when I'm teaching people self-hypnosis. So this week we're going to talk about the 4th step, which is labeling. So labeling is really about, as I understand it, the concept of, instead of equating yourself with something, I am anxious, I am tired, it is really about recognizing the temporariness and the process of it, right? So if you say, I am anxious, it's essentially like you're saying, I am, so I equals anxious. I equals tired. I am that. I'm identifying myself with that. And of course, I'm not any of those things. I don't know about you, but I'm not any of those things. But I do experience those things from time to time. People do experience those things from time to time, right? So when we label, it's really more about labeling the experience. And a lot of times I think of it as like an ing word. It's called a gerund, something that has an ongoingness. It is temporary. So for example, I might say, I am experiencing tiredness. I am experiencing insomnia. And instead of saying I have sleep problems, it might be I'm experiencing sleep problems tonight. I'm noticing a feeling of worry. I'm remembering that in the past I experienced insomnia. That is a recognition, that labeling process is a recognition that you're putting attention on something and you're aware of it in the greater context. And so you can have a little bit more of that curiosity and that observer. So it's really a way of allowing yourself to exist in your own present moment, in your own present state, without attaching yourself to this closed system, right? So, for example, years and years ago, 20 years ago, when I was first learning about classical mindfulness from my friend and former supervisor when I was at UCLA, his name is Dr. Lobsang Rapgay, and he taught me a lot of the things that I know about classical mindfulness. And so one of the examples that he gave me in labeling, because I was kind of struggling to try to understand it, was he said, you know, Dyan, if you're eating a bowl of grapes and you just keep eating those grapes and you think, oh, these grapes are sweet and delicious, and you're just eating those grapes and doing something else, you're not really tasting each one of those grapes. But if you're aware that each one has a slightly different color, some are softer, some are crisper, some are sweeter, some are tartar, some are bigger, some are smaller. And each one that you eat, if you really taste it and you notice, I'm noticing the sweetness. I'm feeling the texture. then you're experiencing it in a mindful way. And what happens naturally when you do that is you actually move into the fifth stage, which is the stage of at-oneness, the stage of what they call entering the gap. And in this stage, there is really a sense of presence. And when that happens, all of those other thoughts start to sort of drift away. And you can really enjoy that grape. But also, when you're lying in bed, you can imagine how that could be helpful in terms of insomnia, right? Because a lot of times when people have chronic sleep issues, they wake up early, they wake up in the night, they can't go back to sleep, they have insomnia, or they have fatigue, or they have anxiety, or they have all these things. They can also, when you get into bed, right, you might think, oh, what if I can't sleep tonight? Oh, what if it's too light out, or, what if a noise wakes me up, or whatever, right? But all that stuff is not about the present moment. That's like those grapes. Oh, those are just grapes. Those taste like grapes. And we're not even thinking about what each one is its own individual, has its own slightly different taste and texture and color and all of those things. So as you practice mindfulness, you can then apply that to other areas of your life and to your sleep. And this is something I've really kept in mind, as I said, when I'm designing self-hypnosis. It's really helpful to build this skill. So I think you'll find it helpful. Let me know in the comments below. And you can also go to the link in my profile where you can download a free video and ebook with some of my favorite sleep tips. I hope this is helpful. Sweet dreams.